Alright, guys. Hello.
Welcome to the event.
I kind of lost focus and started before I did all the stuff I wanted to do, but whatever, we're going to be doing it anyway. There's just one day before Sneznhaya. And I thought to celebrate it, let's go over the bosses. Now, we're not going over every boss. I want to be clear here, because no, not gonna do that. No, not every single boss. Like this one, this one. That's a lot. What we're doing is a boss rush of the weekly bosses. Now, well, I didn't want to do that yet. Now, what I want to do is at least set a few ground rules I set for myself for this. Because I wanted to, like, make this a little challenging. So, rule 1 I'm setting for myself. I have to use characters of the region that the boss is in. So, for like if the weekly boss is in Mondstadt, I can only use Mondstadt characters. If they're in Leeway, I can only use Leeway characters. Sumeru can only use Sumeru, Inazuma can only use Inazuma, Nodcry can only use Nodcry. You get the idea. This ruling will then restrict me from using Sandrone, Arlecchino, and where is he? Child. As they are Sneznhaya characters. Like, yeah, like, I will not be able to use them for this one. Well, the challenge I did. I'm doing. Yeah, tongue twister. The second ruling I made for myself: travel is a must. I will be switching elements between travel between what I think is the top 3. Could be mistaken. So if you see me going around changing elements of the Traveler, that's why. Because I need a certain Traveler element for that one. And I will be doing them in order of their release. But that is basically the ruling. Can't use Traveler. Have to use characters of the region that weekly boss is in. Can't use Arlecchino, Child, and Sandroni. Can't use Alloy because she is technically not from any of those, and I consider her a not really a character within this story. Like, she doesn't play a role in this story. All she was a a crossover promotional character, and despite her being level 90, I have practically no use on her. No use on her. Can't even, because I can't even get these upgraded. Anyway. The other big thing I'll say, because you might say, like, hold on, what about Skirk? Because Skirk isn't from any nation. Right, you are. I consider her the exception to this rule. Mostly because she does play a role in the story, while not being from Teyvat. But anyway, with that, let's begin. And I'm going to be also talking about my thoughts on the game, so I'll be trying to multitask. If I'm quiet, that's because I have to focus on certain parts or certain bosses. And I've named each team I have built and tested several times to see how it would work. Anyway, ooh, sorry. Yeah. Let's start off with the good old first boss of the entire game, Dvalin. I remember thinking it would be like a final boss. That's when I saw a boss order list, but how little I was wrong. We're not even done with the game. But yeah. I started this game in... Oh, when did I start? I think I was somewhere... Like, I know it was somewhere in the first Wind Bloom was when I started. I started, like, very early of 2021. Because I took a break, and then I came back to it around then, but I... Oh jeez, that was a lag spike.
Delve into destiny.
But yeah, overall, I know like a lot of people like Mondstadt because it's home, and I do agree, but to a point. It's a great introduction first region. Don't get the wrong idea.
Blazing light.
But
Flames. Purge.
overall, like
Teamwork is dreamwork. Fate is upon you.
I'm just one that I found this story like pretty basic though for Sneznhaya very early on. Not just wow, brain. I'm sorry, I am tired. Wow, and I'm trying to focus. Anyway, for Monster, like it is pretty basic. Maybe I just played a lot of fantasy RPGs that I was like kind of was too used to the story, but at the same time, to give it credit, it's the prologue. It's meant to be like introduction to the world building and the characters, and I acknowledge Mondstadt's good part of that. I want to be clear, this is just my opinions. I am welcome for people to tell me if I forgot something. I should have like looked back on the history. Whoops on my part. That's a fault I'll accept.
Ways to the wicked. Blazing light.
Anyway,
Everybody stand.
A new dawn rises.
very easy first boss. Sure, I guess I'll take some of this. But yeah. Stuff we got on Andreas. There were some parts of it, but I wasn't too into a lot of the characters early on in Genshin. That's probably why I almost got bored around the beginning and took a little break at some point. It was like, aside from D-Luke and Jean, like, none really hit hard for me personally. At least for Mondstadt. And maybe just hard to explain in this one. Maybe just I could see a lot of what D-Luke saw in a lot of the characters. And that's probably like why I wasn't too into Amber, wasn't too into Lisa, wasn't too into Kaya. Henty, a lot of people have said what said, at least some actual fair some Genshin fans that can critique it fairly have said what has already said about Venti, like that he's not really a good leader. Yes, he's got a freedom that lets people live their lives how they want, but from the lore, like from remembering the lore, correct me if I'm wrong, like that did lead to the rise of the Lawrence clan. Also, I say like not oh, whoops! I forgot something. I almost went into that with the wrong traveler element. As weird as it is. It's hard to focus it properly in the game. Like, anyway. Not to say like not every Mossad character was like the expanded lore we got definitely has made a lot of it better. Yeah, like, I've definitely liked the backstory they did for like characters like Diona and Razor. I definitely like what they did for Bennett. Kaya's is the one that interests me with the Conrian roots. I'm curious to see where that goes, but I don't think we will for a while still. So, but despite my initial dislike of him, I am curious what they're gonna do with him further on. But yeah, like aside from that, like not really much I could say about Mondstadt. Just story felt basic. Characters were alright, but they didn't sell anything for me for high interest aside from like again Jean and Diluc at first, though they did expand on things a lot more later on that I can now hold a bit more in appreciation. Now, this was just my initial thoughts looking back when I first played. Would I say it's different now? Like, of course it is because of the passage of time. This boss, though, I will say was cool. Like, I really liked this boss. It probably was my favorite boss back then.
I summon thee.
Ow. Oh, jeez.
Teamwork is trick.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Ouch.
Windblade.
Ow. Okay. Yeah, it really goes to show when I haven't... Ow. Really upped a lot of my characters a lot for some of the ones.
Let's light it up. And then go in.
Ooh.
Boing, boing, boom.
Come on, let's see what you're gonna do.
Disappear.
I did not get the right swirl I wanted, but I somehow
Get out of here. Off we go.
did something more interesting. Ow. Yeah, like I will still like say like Mondstadt was very good for like the early world building of Genshin. Like I at least was fascinated by the world. I definitely wanted to see more, and I still am here, and I still will be here, and I'm glad to be here. Like, I'm not sure if the other worlds didn't sell me the way sell me on like wanting to like see the beauty of this world and like still learn more, more than the first two did with its world building and as such. Which I'll get to that as we are pretty much like heading to Leeway next. Oops, I probably should have like held on that, but whoops. There's some I would like. There. I'm gonna need Dendro for the team I have planned for the next one. I apologize, like my focus sometimes goes off, like again, like it's been a while. I really should have like done a refresher, but that was my own fault. Like I was lazy, was sleeping before this. I really need to fix my sleep schedule before work comes up. But this is not supposed to be like a full serious critique. It's just my thoughts while trying to critique it as fairly as I can. And I'm welcome to people to tell me if I'm missing something, I think, or forgot something, yada yada. The point is, like, I'm always open for discussion as long as it's fact. If you're trying to give something that isn't factual, actual, and is more headcanon, I am more than likely prone to just ignore. I'd rather hear actual factual, like discussions, like, you agree, disagree with me, refreshing me on things I forgot. I know I said yada yada, and it's not before that was, and I'm saying it again as well, but it's not a blah blah whatever. It's a, you get the idea. You get the point I'm trying to make, hopefully. Alright, leeway, though.
This opportunity is quite
a bit more characters, I'll admit.
Amuse me.
A bit more characters that I liked here. Also, the one thing I like here, as well, as one of my friends showed me, you can just stand here for hours, and unless you move or attack him, he won't do anything. He just stands there looking at you. I'm just like, I might use it just to get my thoughts out of the way so I can focus a bit. At least for the early parts. So, yeah, I believe it was a bit also predictable. Like, I could definitely see where it was going. For the story, from beginning to end. And I even felt as much, without spoiling myself, that Zhongli was going to be Rex Lapis. It's Nicholas. And whether that be obvious or them trying to be... we did their best to try and hide it. I don't know. We won't ever know. But for me, it was very, very predictable that he was going to be Rex Lapis. Morax. Not that is a bad thing, though. Like, I like Zhongli as a character. I also like pitching as a character. Like, there was quite a good amount of characters that I enjoyed seeing in Leeway. And Child here, despite me not trusting him at first, he grew on me with his character story. I never thought that one of the game's antagonists, and I'm saying antagonist, not villain, there's a difference, my friends. I never thought one of the game's antagonists would already grow on me this early in. But we did. Yeah, that's, I'm trying to think what other ones interest me. Zhao, yeah, Zhao. I really like Zhao. Is like whole like appearing mystery, just like all at least always willing to come to Traverse aid now was definitely very one of the more interesting characters. And they just Baizu, I also said, like, while I've grown while it took me a while for them to grow on me due to his playability now, the one thing that interested me about Baizu was him being the first character I saw with the Dendro element before they even had it implemented into the game outside of the Dendro slime. And I was just like, holy crap, there's a Dendro element character. And I remember like discussions with some friends online that said like, his element's animal. I'm like, no, it's clearly Dendro if you look at it a lot more. Well, he's probably not going to be playable because they not going to make Dendro play. Like, they're gonna, they just probably don't know how yet. And he'll be playable, once they figure out how. What happens later on in Chapter 3? When they introduce us to the land of Dendro and actually have to give us the element? They figure out how, and not too far along, Baizu becomes playable sometime, I think, after the... I do not remember this one, but if he was introduced during Fontaine, but I think he was introduced during the Samiru updates, but they finally made him playable, is my point, and it just showed, like, I was pretty much, like, right there. It was very obvious that they had a Dendro character planned, but they were still figuring out how to implement Dendro. I think they had 2 planned with Yaya, because she was in promotional art, but she was not in game yet for a good while until a Lantern Rite came along. Anyway. Let's go then, child. And yes, I am going to call him child because over his real name of Ajax.
Nowhere to hide.
You've made some progress. Not bad. You've got a trick or two.
Scatter!
Ow, ow.
No, my sword.
No use hiding back there.
Don't blink.
Has your luck run out?
Whoop. Nope.
You play.
Ow! Ooh, gosh, that was close.
Speed of light.
The price of a single swing. Raging tide. All you do is run.
Don't blink.
There we go. Man, like, this was a fun fight, though. Like, while this is still a super easy fight for me nowadays, it was definitely a fun fight back in the day. I remember, like, seeing him just fire a whale at me, and I was just like, holy frick, that's a whale. Oh shit, one of my characters just died. And that was after the story boss fight.
Foul legacy. The devouring deep.
But yeah. Like, still, in my opinion, like, one of the best bosses in the game, though, despite how easy it is. But that's just because I'm one that feels like proper flinch mechanics in an action RPG on bosses feels rewarding when you actually create an opening that causes them to flinch for you to get more hits in. A lot more proper damage.
Rain outlines your fate.
Ow.
Rain cutter. Cut to the chase. Incoming.
Ow. Ow. And dead already. Yeah, like I said, very, very easy fight. Anyway, I need to get Pyro again. But yeah, I definitely liked the direction Leeway went a bit more. Looking back on it, may not have felt that way much at first, but that was also because we only had two stories, two chapters right there, the prologue and chapter 1. But now, back, I would definitely say out of the early two, Leeway definitely feel a lot better because there was definitely a lot more going on of like introducing the Fatuya as our main. Well, I say introducing when what happened in Mondstadt with Signora, but I should more probably say introducing more beyond just her. And seeing a lot more of their involvement in Leeway. Like, that definitely caught my interest more. There was definitely a lot more characters that I liked. And some that came in later that I definitely grew more interested in, like Beto. Oh, and Cloud Retainer, as things went on, to eventually becoming playable. And of course, then in around chapter 1, we also got the introduction of Dainsleif, which that is the point that the story definitely got me hooked on. Well, hooked into it. Just the mystery around him. Like, I don't really know what to say, like, other than, while I do see a lot of the good values in him, I just still don't trust him yet. But that's probably because when I watched the Tibet storyline preview, and which was before I actually saw him in game, and just was like, who is this like mysterious character? And saw like they had plans for a playable character named Dainsleif. It's like, I don't know much about this character in the game. I haven't seen him in game. Found him later on. Then, and I don't know, like his line. I mean, that was like, defeat me, command me to step aside. Like, that gives me a feel like there's a bit more to him than we know. Like, he is going to be very likely our one of our penultimate, if not opponents before we can like truly alter the fate of Teyvat. That's at least what I'm getting. Is it probably a headcanon in sort of ish, but I'm also very curious to see what they will do in the finale. I'm just stating how I felt about Dainsleif. Because definitely, like, he's a great ally against the Five Sinners of Conria and the Abyss Order, which the latter is far more villainous. It is aside from, like, our sibling of whatever they're up to. Meanwhile, I'm gonna have to also pop some food. One sec as well. Meanwhile, like, despite like him, he is also Dainsleif also is very much against the gods in general for what happened to Conrad, which I understand, but it's like I feel there's something like that the Archons aren't telling us while feeling regretful about what happened to Conria, but also likely that Dainsleif is holding every god in hard contempt because with some of the Conrians now I've encountered that are aware of what happened in Conria. One of them we'll get to much later on. I've seen them like at least try to understand that there's more, that while there was a lot of innocents that were punished, the current Archons may not, while likely guilty of a lot of stuff, often just by association of, particularly in the war that caused the Cataclysm, aren't fully at fault. Like, it's definitely the heavenly principle at this point, which, again, we'll get to that when we get to, like, I think Sumeru or Fontaine, or both of them, more accurately. I'm saying like some of that because I just want to at least make it match with the story, okay, guys? Yeah, this boss. I hated this boss at first. That's because I didn't have that many good shielders. I had like Noel, Diona, Beto. That was pretty much it that I had. Now that I have Zhongli, he admittedly is cakewalk, and learned that it's pretty much now that he's not really that bad of a boss, but definitely I feel like early on Sneznhaya was just, I want to say these words personally, I think Sneznhaya was ahead of his time for a boss. Very high shield demanding, HP sponge like tank of a boss, but overall like completely beatable. Ow.
Stabilize.
Nice and spicy. Useless.
The enraged earth will not absolve you.
I'm handling this a bit slow right now, but that's because I have at least somewhat of a plan.
Today, you witness your reckoning.
And now this part right here, for him, like applying consistent elemental damage if he hits you with one of his elemental attacks. This is the part that actually was like nearly wiped me out. Whoa, there we go. Ooh, jeez. Yeah, there's the damage right there. What you're seeing on Zhongli and Zhao.
Though you know it not. Stabilize, experience, and
Yeah, if you do enough damage, like, he's really not that bad of a boss. Let's put my shield back up.
this is order. Solidify.
And now you die.
Worthless.
Alright, now let's see. My next element I need is ammo again, which will be helpful actually for the next one. Inazuma. Oh boy, where do I begin? Because I'm gonna state this actually first off, since I have a moment to actually stand still again. I'm an idiot, and I forgot to actually change my element. But this gives me more time. Anyway, I'm going to say something that probably some people may not have expected, because yes, I do agree with a lot of the obvious, that Inazuma is the weakest nation story right now. It definitely felt like it needed an Act 4, if not an Act 5 as well. It did feel rushed, even though we don't have elements of that. But but it was definitely one of the like rough earlier ones, and as I learned from some people, like the writing team changed around the third act. Like that, if I recall, like that is what I recall people saying. Someone can feel free to tell me if that's right or wrong. It's just what I remember recalling people saying. But this is what I'm gonna say, and might surprise people. When this first came out, even after Act 3, because we didn't have a lot to compare it to between Mondstadt and Liyue, which I wasn't too heavily into aside from the Dane stuff, but welcomed the like world building and lore to starting out the lore of the world. Inazuma was my favorite nation for a time. Mainly by proxy, we only had 3 nations at that time. And some slight bias towards, like, Japanese culture element. And I have really no idea what I was thinking back then. I don't know, someone's messaging me. Oh, no one's messaging me. Never mind. I legitimately have no idea what I was on back then that made me like this. But what I personally will say is I felt the first 2 acts, at least, Acts 1 and 2, were very strong. Like, this one had the most characters I was interested in. I liked Tomo, of how he pretty much, while he got us to do some, like, while he tricked us to do some work for it, he at least got us to meet Ayaka. We didn't really want anything to do with the resistance against what was going on here until Ayaka encouraged us to like see certain people. So we saw like how people that had their vision take away affected them in such horrific ways. Raiden Shoka, the puppet, not the Archon A, was a ruthless and antagonist, and I certainly thought like it was going to lead up to her being the main threat of it. Of it. Sort of did, but also some stuff there. Here. Kaza, who we met before there, like, definitely became my favorite character, or one of them. Definitely around the top 5. If not top 3 for male ones. And one thing that is like, we haven't seen in a while. Every single time they pretty much updated story stuff about him, I found myself relating him to a lot more, like, quite literally in Kazuma's character story. When he was, like, I'd rather people see me for, like, who I don't remember his lines, but it was like when there was talks of how he blocked Brian Shogun's like big, powerful sword attack. Like he was like, I'd rather people see me for like who I am and not my accomplishments. It's like that I can relate to. As even though I'm not famous, I always say see people who they are. Do not put them on a pedestal. Many people, regardless of how famous they are, don't like being put on a pedestal. Oh, I saw like so much of Kazu me, and like again, like a lot of the cast was good. Yomi, it was like very it was like very friendly and like definitely like showed a lot of the joy that she could bring. You can still like see even through heart at times. Kami and Goro were very cool characters to see. Like the side that was like that of the part that while had a different deity, he like didn't resent the Shogun, but definitely was like the main forming resistance against her attempts to take all visions. And Kujo-san was definitely an interesting character that being like the pretty much like I want to say like right hand for a time. I don't know at time. Actually, I don't know whether that's the right word to say, but she was definitely like the like number 2 of the Shogun. But there was just so many good characters in Inazuma. It really just is sad to me of how the things went in Act 3. Looking back on it now, and yes, I said I was one of its defenders, but
You're trembling. Is it the cold or just cowardice?
I just didn't have much to compare it to, and was probably like a bit nostalgia blind for Japanese culture. Actually, why did I say nostalgia blind? Now, that's not even the right word to use. Wow, okay.
Time to go.
With the wind!
Wind strike.
And where are you going?
Into the frozen void.
Ow.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my night.
Ow. Okay. Ah, blah, 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 blah.
Billowing surge.
Yeah, like I also remember like seeing this, even though like I didn't understand like for the banners or like a lot of other stuff, that thinking like Signora was gonna be playable. And this is where I'm gonna say like I do feel Signora was one of the first of the Fatui Harbiters that definitely was a lot more villainous. Like there's a lot more, though you can at least understand her rage and pain and bitterness from her lore, but the one thing I think that sucks, and this is probably like due to like the age writing at the time, her lore is tied to artifacting, like stuff you have to find and read. So you have to go out of your way and learn it. Had had they revealed it much earlier on and not in that way, I probably would have felt different than I did about. Hey, Tween. Here, welcome. I was just giving some of my thoughts of the game and how, like, while fighting the weekly bosses, like, how, like, I used to, like, admittedly love Inazuma, thinking it was the best nation until we had later our conquest that showed me, no. The naivety of sometimes being either blinded by cultures you like and not having much to compare to. And yes, I'm gonna flat out say that was naivety on my part for back then. Yeah, I'm also fighting these weekly bosses under a special ruling I made for myself of... Ow. I'm pretty much only using Traveler and characters within that nation of that boss. Mainly because I want a challenge. Because if I use some of my actual best teams I made, these guys would be creamed. It would probably overall be a very short stream otherwise. But yeah, like, definitely I can understand why some people are upset about Signora. I personally feel like it was that if we had more to her, I would feel bad. I was one that unfortunately just, I never really saw the appeal for her back then. But I think that at least was just dated times of
embrace your searing reckoning.
Times of how they wrote things.
Take flight.
Clouds high, the birds call.
Allow me.
I'm gonna just... Ow.
Who dares? Call me a witch.
Wind strike.
With the wind!
Oh, jeez. Where am I? Where?
I never asked for redemption.
Okay, there we go. Anyway. Next element I need, because I'm switching elements a lot. Dendro again. Okay, back to Sumeru to grab Dendro, and then we're going to the next weekly boss. Yeah, like, we do, at least through our character stories, get a complete... I'm gonna say... I actually don't know if it's right to say complete, but I like at least what they did with it. But I still will say I agree with what most others have said, likely, about Inazuma. It needed at least an Act 4, if not Act 5. I definitely... It was a writing product of its time. A lot of the stuff there, but I liked at least the theme. I liked the first two acts. I liked practically all the characters in Inazuma. And Inazuma also was the one that made me really, really wish I got into it sooner, back in the early 2020s, so I could have actually been there for version 1.1, because it also showed another part of the writing that I'm glad they're slowly fixing, at least, and I would like them to actually fix a bit more. Letting important story characters or have important story moments be part of the main story, because people, while they did have an alternate wave cutscene, it would have been nice to meet Scaramouche back when we did it normally, instead of just tied to an event. And another one of the probably best bosses in the game.
This ends now.
Ow.
Strike dead.
Scatter!
Ow.
Wind strike. Inazuma shines eternal.
What?
The eye sweeps the land. Shine down. Strike dead.
Ow.
Propagate. Evasion is futile. Illusion shattered. Lightning falls on the land of eternity.
Ow. Okay, that hurts.
Let's move out. Allow me. Uphill battle.
Wind strike. This bug is eternal.
Oh, jeez.
Inferior. There is no escape. No escape.
Okay, that was funny. Oop. Nope. Ow.
One with wind and cloud.
Spring forth.
Rest and rebuild.
Witness the final
And
countdown.
break. With this, my right and build. Hold on, like let me see if I can show right here. Like, I have the engulfing lightning and this artifact sets. Like, I'm not a super build guy, so I don't sometimes always look for the best substats. It's just like how I play. Like, I'm not super in depth. I in this for fun. Like, I still enjoy the build, but Constellations, I have her to C2, which is easily the best one to have her on. And ignoring 60% of the opponent's defense, like, that is busted. Oh! Wasn't fast enough there.
Eternity. There is no escape.
Scatter!
Let's move out. Hold the line.
Yes, that's good. Get that. Up, Kazuha. Here we go. Good job,
Now you shall
Trevor.
inferior.
Fallen leaves.
Adorn my...
Rest and rebuild.
Illusion shattered. Inazuma shines eternal. There is no escape.
Germinate!
Obey me.
Propagate!
This world.
Ow.
Shadow.
Scatter!
Illusion shattered. Now you shall perish. Illusion.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, which is funny that I see a lot of things say that she's a sub DPS character. I'm like, yes and no, but she can double as a main
Allow me.
DPS as long as she has that. Honestly, or maybe so she could be a main DPS role
Shine down.
while she has that.
A freshman
think I know. Anyway, like, now we're gonna go to Sumeru, which... I'm still keeping Dendro. Yeah, oh boy, Sumeru, the one that pretty much showed me, like, I remember, like, right at 3.1 being like, okay, can't wait for the Scaramouche boss fight. End of Act 3. Okay, we're not there yet, but they did say there was an Act 4, so he's likely at Act 4. Finishes Act 4, getting to Act 4, getting to what I felt was the end of Act 4. And I was like, we're nowhere near the point for a Scaramouche boss fight, yet story-wise from what it feels like. I hope we're getting there soon, but it feels like they're going to do an Act 5. To be continued. Oh my god, there's an Act 5 coming. I remember being initially like, shocked by that, but as much as how shocked I was with that tone, and that tone made it sound like I hated it, I actually loved it. It was more story, and it kept me hooked. Like, Sumeru had real good characters, and oh my gosh, the lore dump. Like, the main flaw, like, I probably would give Sumeru for me was the lore dump made it feel very long and condensed. Not in a negative way, but it's like, it can definitely turn some people off, probably. I liked it, but oh boy, the lore. So much lore in Sumeru.
Before me, worm.
But yeah, Sumeru was the chapter that made me realize that I needed to was the chapter that made me realize that Inazuma would definitely needed more acts, because Sumeru was just overall really well written.
Dare to mess with me?
Wind rises.
You cannot defy me, mortal.
Have fun with this gift.
At my command, you shall fall.
You dare to gaze upon me?
Nope, you will fall there. And overall, like, this, like, as easy as this fight is for me now, this definitely was quite the spectacle of a boss. I loved this fight. And again, like, Sumeru had so many good characters. Seeing Kole, who we've only known about since the manga, Tignari, Sino, I'll hate them. Dea, like, Nilu, like, along with Makuta, just learning Scaramouche's backstory. Like, he definitely is.
My guiding stars. Too late for regret.
I don't want to try and sound like I'm excusing Scaramouche, because I'm not. There's definitely stuff that we can't ever, forgive him for.
Too slow.
The night is cold.
Swallow fury.
But I really love the writing directions they took with Scaramouche, personally. Hello. Okay. Boom. Hold on a moment. I actually need a quick food on Scaramouche right there. Jeez. Oh shit, did I miss one of them? I hope not. Okay, good. We still got it. Boom.
Possible.
Can I get up? Hello? Game! Really? This is bad. My controller had some malfunctions. Nope. We still got him. Phew! Despite like controller like not eating my inputs there, we still got him. Whew. I was a little worried that we'd have to like do a bit more of the fight, but I'm usually very good at finishing him off there. But yeah. Oh, and of course, like the one thing I can't forget, Sumerio's Archoncuts gave us, like, that doctor, like such an actual villain, like while I can argue Signora being a villain, like, and I can still see her side as an antagonist. Yeah, Scaramouche still did some a lot of horrible stuff, like a lot compared to Signora and Child that we've seen. But he at least had some room to like redeem himself. He was an antagonist that had an arc for redemption. Child, like, yeah, he's a fighter, but he still does some bad stuff. He's still an antagonist. And again, like, I need to emphasize the clear difference between antagonist and villain. Because a villain has, like, practically no morals and can be, like, pure evil. Like, Hazama from, or Yuki Chimri from Blaze Blue, who, for example, is an actual villain. Dotori is an actual villain in here. One of the few, if not only, of the Fatui Harbingers I would argue is a villain. Well, the antagonist just is someone that opposes the protagonist. And this, like, I can't argue enough how much people need to like understand the difference between the term.
I see everything.
Anyway, I need to be focused. I really don't like this boss. Ooh, and that's part why.
Sharing my knowledge. I see everything.
Your sins weigh upon your soul.
Gosh. Oh, jeez.
Their penance is due.
Committed to memory. The Temple of Wisdom. Oh, sweet.
Ow.
Surrender. Through me, justice is served. You stay condemned.
So like, this boss is just definitely one of my least favorites. Like, I really hate this boss. It's mostly because of the limitation I put on myself, probably, but even then, I still don't really like this boss.
Germinate!
Make yourselves at home. Here's the good. Hey,
Nowhere to run. Guilty.
Judgment is
Oop, why'd I do that so soon?
everyone hold hands.
scatter!
I see everything. Sharing my knowledge. Grow, grow, grow.
Nowhere to run. Their penance is due.
Everyone hold hands. Take the Temple of Wisdom.
Through me, justice is served. Stand condemned. Guilty.
Good, that finishes you, and now
Germinate! Propagate!
yeah, Nahida also was like a real good character. Or like overall, Sumeru was just really well written. A story arc.
Yourselves at home.
Judgment is upon
It's definitely one of the stronger top 3 stronger arcs of the game. I definitely will give it that.
I see everything.
Spring forth!
Surrender.
That's at least for my opinion as well. Here we go. That part's so long, but yeah, we're at the part I hate. I'm gonna have to pop some food as well, because this part sucks. I practically almost gave up the stream idea. Just because of some rough practice runs. Despite setting up on the team I had with the rules that I have, even this boss was just need that to reduce that, and I'm gonna actually use this to buff my damage. So I want to end this fight quickly, and I'm gonna use this to buff my defense.
The Temple of Wisdom.
Go for it into the shield.
Scatter!
Committed to memory.
Germinate!
Set that up. Do that. And now we'll go as ham as we can. Come on, gotta deal so much damage. Oh, jeez. Ow. That still hurts a lot. Good lord. Even with like a food buff. Ooh.
This place hurt a little. Make
Right.
yourselves at home.
Come on, Sino. Oh no! That's not good. Ooh. And there's some of the reasons I really don't like this boss. was gonna do. I'm gonna at least wait for it to get accept the shield. Right into there.
Spring forth!
The Temple of Wisdom. Magical lamp.
Surrender!
Oh, there we go. Ah. Sorry, like I knew I was gonna have to go silent on that one in particular. I knew with my gut I was gonna have to go silent on that freaking boss. Ay, but now I need to get Animal again for Fontaine bosses. Right, I'm not on travel. Here we go. Anyway. Fontaine, the Nation of Justice. This one, I'd argue, is my second, if not first, favorite of the Archon quests. Like, it's certainly up there. If, like, Sumeria was really good and had a lot of lore, this one was really good in the emotion and character department, because oh boy, so much going on. Like, meeting Linny and Lynette and finding out they were Fatu, to the being of the House of the Hearth. Same with Fremen. Meeting Child again and learning a bit more of his link to his master Skirk, that all we had was just dialogue mention from him. Farina, who I hated at first, and then by Act 5 became one of my favorite female characters in the game. Also Wanderer, Scaramouche, basically favorite former antagonist of the game. Like, another one of my top favorite characters.
Let's blow bubbles.
Oh boy! Ow.
Settle down!
Anyway. Uh-oh.
Be sanctified.
Let the world collide.
Yeah, like,
Floaty floaty.
a lot of other characters. The prison. I was one of the other ones that kind of enjoyed it, but I can understand why a lot of people didn't like it. Oh! And that's like not Navia, like, such good story arc for her as well, with her connection to with her and Clorand, how it linked to her father. Like, they really set a lot of cool stuff up for Fontaine, and I am happy to present, like, again, like, I hated for being a first the mystery of, like, of her pretty much not being, like, having, like, possible no definitivity for what Arcana said, and her not sure what to do is, like, what's going on, and this mysterious curse that was mentioned. And Nouvellette, definitely, like, a great character. Like, I've unfortunately seen, during Fontaine's times, people complain about Fontaine saying it was the Nouvellette show. I'm like, no, Farina was a very key part due to, like, how things were set up with Focalor to deceive the Heavenly Principles, which, thanks to Fontaine and Sumera, we understand, like, the Heavenly Principles was, like, the first Descender, I believe, and basically responsible for everything that's been going on. Well, almost about everything. Like, a lot of the suffering and the current state of the world of Teyvat. I really do like Fontaine. Like, even Rizme and Siegel were fun characters to meet. That's why this was so much, and the whole reveal that Farina was never really the Archon all along, and that her divinity was just split in half. Hey, Suba, Nikki, welcome. I'm pretty much like just doing a weekly boss rush with the rule set of have to use Traveler, have to use characters from the nation that boss is in, while discussing my thoughts on Genshin as a whole. Oh, jeez. All before Sneznhaya comes out tomorrow. Oh, yes, I am excited. I am very excited. That's why I've been doing, going over my thoughts, but yeah. A lot of the characters, very good drama and character development. Fontaine was easily, like, right around the top 2 for my favorite stories within all of the Archon quests. Am I getting Odette? I do not know yet. Maybe I'm gonna have to see how well she could work with Sandrone, because I currently have Sandrone. Otherwise, I may wait to see what other support I could have for my stellar reaction team, which is it's funny because I have like a hydro mono cryo one, and I have a stellar focused reaction team. I might readjust a lot of my teams after teams soon, but we'll see. Yeah, like. Alright, next up is the Knave, aka Arlecchino. There she is, right there. Definitely another character I liked, like, and it definitely showed, like, we shouldn't take the Harbinger's word on things for each other, because, like, I thought Arlecchino was going to be this crazy, manipulative, backstabbing woman at first. She isn't crazy, but she's still very ruthless and scary, but she's also very kind and willing to like help the children of her orphanage. A lot better than the previous owner did, if you look into her lore. Like, this is, and again, like, while she didn't do much to, like, well, let me rephrase that. She didn't do much to be, in terms of threat in the Fontaine arc, but you definitely can see a lot of moral gray to her, and by association of the Fatui, she's still an antagonist. She still has done some bad things, but once again, emphasizing clearly, difference between antagonist and villain. Arlecchino is an antagonist, not a villain.
Have the courage to be afraid.
And even then, like, that antagonist wins just by association.
Pitiful attacks. I thought I taught you better. Mine to wield.
Like, she has yet to actually directly oppose us. This fight here of, like, her children, like, dueling her and us assisting was the closest we got to that.
With these rising flames. Mine to wield. With the fall of darkness, destruction shall rise. The countdown has begun.
This is easily where I argue personally, in my opinion. Ow!
Trapped like a bunch of helpless animals. With these rising flames.
Ow!
Olive.
Closer now.
Like, this is easily, probably, in my opinion, again, like, I like bosses that have the flinch reactions. If you hit them right, then you can get a lot more stronger hits. I like that a lot in action RPGs. Arlecchino is one of them, and easily I'd argue the best of them.
Use the spotlight.
Not bad. You've proven to be a worthy opponent after all.
Floaty body.
Spare your energy. Running is of little use.
Phew. She, like early on, before I got used to her, like, she definitely frightened me because she ate through 3 of my party members. My first full-on go after the her story one. It was just because of her bond of life mechanic. She was definitely the most scariest of the bosses I fought early on, but now I'm used to her. She is still very fun to fight.
Let's blow bubbles.
Yep. Ow!
This has been seared away. My blade is all that remains. Mine to wield.
Whoop.
Over here. Floaty body.
Your punishment made manifest.
Oh god! Ow, I'm okay.
Let's blow bubbles.
The sun and
Ow.
moon have set. Only ruin remains. Bane.
Surprise. Be amazed.
Ow, can I set my heal, please? Thank you. Like, again, like, A lot of stuff in Fontaine was just really well written. I loved this arc. I know I'm probably gushing. I was like, if you looked back when I did the live stream of it, you could see definitely that I was into the story.
Your punishment made manifest.
Whoop.
Over here. Cue the spotlight.
Disappear.
Floaty, floaty, oh.
Ouch, that hurt.
That's more like it.
That was fun. That was fun. Alright. And now we're going to Natland. Natland. And my first element is, hey, I'm gonna need Pyro. Perfect, since I'm going to Natland. Whoop. And again, I'm not used to always like having travel out with this. Anyway. Yes, boss. As I'm going to get into the discussion of Natland. And probably surprise a lot of people when I say I actually don't think Natland was that bad, but I also don't think it was good either. I am very mixed on Natland, but not in a I love it and hate it way. Like, I see the good it did. There definitely is a good amount of strong good in there. Like, I like the characters. I like the connections between the tribes. I like I find it interesting that they put a lot more focus on the Abyss as the threat over the Fatui. Like, heck, the Fatui, again, helped us with Capitano. A character who I'm still going to say is probably, who aside from Scaramouche, is probably one of my favorite Harbingers. And overall, I strongly feel will come back eventually.
Let's ride. Need a surfboard? Locked on.
A worthy fight.
Oof, I got already hit pretty bad from that one. I think I'm gonna have to pop some food again. Yeah, like, there are definitely though some writing decisions I will say for Natland that I would say are questionable and likely have been the main source of its critique. Like, I know like Marvika is one of them, but I'm not putting her as solely the fault. Like, they did the best they could for a war story with what they had. Do I think it could have been better? Absolutely. But do I think it was worse than Inazuma, like some are saying? No. That is a full-on exaggeration if anyone who thinks it was worse than Inazuma. Like, I will flat out say it is not worse than Inazuma. Like, it definitely is not high up there.
Open fire.
Hold on.
this is. I like. I like see the visions where they went with in that, but could have gotten more. Yeah, that is exactly it. Like I think, unlike Inazuma, where I felt it needed at least an act 4 or 5 to better convey the story from Act 3 instead of like condensing everything in Act 3. Natland was perfectly fine with its 5-act structure or 5 and a in a prelude. It just needed a lot more writing decisions that it had. Like the acts were fine. We had the perfect amount, I say, of acts to tell the story. Just we needed a bit more in those acts. Like that's at least my main criticism of Natland. I still can't get used to this team, though I had to make for this guy being 3 main DPSs, but I got shit luck a lot with rolling Natland characters. I've tried with so many, like Shilonen, no luck. Sitlolly, every time Sitlolly was around, there was always another character I wanted more. Like Mavu.
Hold on to your hats.
A new dawn rises. Honed in flame.
So I got like very bad on like not getting some of the best support I could for in that land, unfortunately.
Open fire.
Blazing light.
Wrath from the sky.
Let's at least put that food right there in advance. That being said, I do again like a lot of characters. Kanish being one of my favorite ones. Malvika, well, Malvika is also very good, and so I very much liked the connection between like the sister energy that Kachina and Mulani had. Ow!
The end of our legacy.
You ignited a fire that you could not control.
I thought I had that one. I thought I had that one broken.
Knock him down.
My everlasting flame.
Yeah, like this is just showing like where a lot of my rough.
Light of the blazing sun.
Where'd you go? Okay.
Burn it down.
Incinerate day and night.
Locked on. Locked on.
That was, like I said, like that one is rough. And like I know like a lot of people say like they killed off Capitano as well in that man. No, like I had a feeling like if he was not gonna be playable in Natland, he was gonna be playable in Sneznhaya or by the time we go to Conria. And I'm gonna like show some proof before we go to the next boss because I need to switch to Animo Element. And it's proof that a lot of people have said on the internet. If you go to here, where Capitano is, if I can find... There. you look very carefully, like, I have to put, like, at least put my camera angle in a way. I wish I could have a first-person camera, but from what people have said, he is, yeah, even I could probably see slight movement of him breathing. The curse of immortality is still in there. He's just pretty much dead, but also not dead. There's still hope to get him back. Is that probably copium smoking for Capitano? Maybe. But do I care? No. I will firmly believe that he will come back in some point in after the Sneznhaya Archon quest, if not when we eventually go to Conria. And if we don't get that, I will accept that just how it ended up, and that they changed their mind on him being playable. But I believe some people found files, which that's the one thing you can tell. Like, Shinora, unfortunately, they only found a file for her. Characters like Arlecchino and Scaramouche, they found character model files in there that proved they were going to be playable. Same with Sandrone. And some people also pointed out, like, there is laws in China that prevent, like, pure evil characters from being playable. Like, it has to be, like, morally gray or redeemed, basically. Like, that might, like, I'm not someone from China. I don't look much into China law. It's not something I want to look into personally. But people that at least know the law can at least confirm it. I trust their input a lot more. More than just assuming that Hoyo's afraid of making villainous characters playable. Oh, I'm an idiot and forgot to change my element. Again, why my brain like that? Yeah, like, overall, like, I do like that. And again, like, a lot of the stuff, and another problem that, of course, unfortunately, that could have helped, as it was the whole strike. I'm saying in air quotes. For those that are unaware of it, I do recommend Nugent's video of it. Like, it's past, but yeah, that was a messy situation. That was a very messy situation. Like, I'm not gonna go much to it aside from saying watch Nugent's video on if you want the details. But my only thought is, like, if they were more truthful from the start, I might have been sided with them to the end. Maybe. There's also a lot of, like, international, like, law stuff, I believe. I guess I can get you. Yeah, like, this though was a fun one. boss. Though I do feel like this boss is very like cryo reaction freeze focused, which is cool, but I imagine it's just gonna make
Delve into
things
destiny.
very hard for those that don't build that kind of team. But you should, like, there's a lot of like catchers to build it. Yeah, again, like, I do thank you, Subaki, for like saying it in a way that I feel is good for like Natland. Like, oh god, I was in the wrong button. I thought I was.
Might wield. Shadows of fate.
And done with that for phase 1. Yeah, this is a point that they did like had an event
A toy really doesn't suit me.
before, like, it's still.
This one doesn't seem like ours.
I do wish for like Durin that we had a main that
Now preside.
the one where we got to meet him for the first time was not tied to an event.
Straight ahead, and you will see things as they appear. But change your perspective, and you will see them as they are.
Like, they are getting better at that slowly.
You okay?
Yeah, I know that kind of is like, but didn't you like do the Durin event? I did, but I do feel like for others that missed it, it would be helpful.
The trial awaits.
Like, making the ultra things is nice. I do like that, but I do wish like there was like a way to permanently play these like old lost events. Let's just do this. Oh geez, that was close.
It is time to slay our foes with one almighty.
This calls for some pomp and ceremony. Good lord, I've lost your lives.
Where were we?
Might wield.
Symphony of cannon fire.
One blast is quite enough.
Disappear.
Ow.
Let us dance, my dearest.
Try to remember the steps this time. Might wield.
Ow.
Towering return to form. Might wield.
Oh no! Sorry, my dear.
Fate is upon you.
Thundering oaths, you're ruining the show.
Ow. Gotta stay focused on this one. Oh jeez, I know I want the king, because the king is... Ow, got a lot of health! But still... Oh dear, I am...
It is time to slay our foes with one almighty
This calls for some pomp and ceremony.
Where were we?
There we go, so far so good.
Oh, this is all getting rather dreary.
Allow me.
Written in the stars.
Disappear.
Come on, okay, and... You're done? You're done. And with that, we're now down to the final two. As we go into Nod Cry. Again, I argue this is pretty much the contender for one of the best nations, and as some people have reminded on there, is like Nod Cry wasn't originally supposed to exist from what it was likely said. Like the devs added it because they needed to tie in a lot of the lore. There was too much lore, too many loose holes that would go unresolved if they just went to Naya. So Nod Cry was created to like bridge the gap. And it really showed how well their writing had evolved. Oh, I gotta actually go to a point to heal. Like, this was easily the peak of Genshin writing. Very easily the peak of Genshin's writing. Was there still likely flaws? Sure. But, oh man, the characters were actually... the stories were actually tied into the main quest as part of the acts. Next, we got... Sandrone was a great character. We got to meet one of the 5 sinners of Connery through Rear, who was a great initial antagonist before Colombina was a great character, had a great character arc. I loved like a lot of the cast from like as well, like from Llama, Finns, Nefer, Varka, even seeing a bit more of Durin and Scaramouche's actual full-on arc for him achieving his revenge. Sandrone had a great character arc as well. Oh, we got to see like how much that Sandrone and Arlecchino saw Colombina as friends and their friendship. And Tottori, God, I love to hate this bastard. Like, this is a villain I would say falls into the love to hate category. Like, for those who don't know that, at least, pretty much like the villain is written to be so despicable that you just love to hate them.
Mild damage if the cleanup sequence initiated. For the everlasting forest.
Blades of cold.
Let's go in here and real quick before we actually do that, I want to at least. And if I got kind of a beating.
Defensive zone engaged.
Receive my blessing with one heart.
Yeah, again, like. Nodcrow just really loves this one. Was the
Installation chamber deployed.
perfect way to.
Lushes the moon.
Cleanup sequence initiated.
Dreams converge for the everlasting forest.
Disappear!
Receive my blessing.
Like,
Accelerating. Preparing for dust up.
I was just not really disappointed. And like, while I said, like, there are probably some things that Nodcrow could have done better, I honestly cannot think of many. I do feel
Lushes the moon.
the goods outweigh the bads.
So you'd rather wallow in this rotten, decaying world?
Yeah, like, Nodcrow definitely was the chef's kiss send off before we go into Pre-Sneznhaya. I can't even think of like how this game would be. Yeah, if we didn't have Nodcrow, but that's also because I've not seen Pre-Sneznhaya yet. I've not seen the story yet. It's not even out yet, but I just have this gut feeling that I cannot even begin, even after I see it, to imagine how Pre-Sneznhaya would be with all the like loose plot holes. Well, I say loose plot holes formally, past tense. For before we actually, without Nodcrow. Ah, I messed things up. Okay. Now, I need Pyro. And the next boss is gonna be a tough one. Not as bad as perhaps Oasis. The Guardian of perhaps Oasis, but it's gonna be tough. Mainly because, like, this is a very unique team I wanted to try and build, and it was very really rough under my rules. Like, it's clear, like, Sumeru and Natland got it unfortunately rough with some of the roles I had. I was unlucky. Well, I say unlucky for his Sumeru, but they also kind of don't have that much healers. Like, they only have Dory. So my ruling kind of really doesn't make Sumeru shine. I mean, in terms of trying to have healers. Natlan I will truly gobble because I've had Shinloan or Sitlali. I felt I wouldn't have to rely on 3 DPSs for that Lord of Primal Fire in my... Again, like, for those watching, this is a self-inflicted rule challenge. I have to use travel, and I have to use characters of the nation of that boss is in, that settle in as their home, not based on lore. Like Wanderer slash Scaramouche is from Inazuma, but he considers Sumeru his home, like his true home. And it's like, and again, like for one of the ones that's pretty much out, like which excludes Alloy and the Harbingers as they're from Sneznhaya. To use Androni for an example of why I can't use her is like, yes, lore is she's from Fontaine, but Sneznhaya is her current set home. Anyway, I also like how we got two tutorial boss fights. Like, I remember I was confused by that. When I saw that glitch thing, I was like, Tutori's probably still alive and he's gonna come back sometime in Sneznhaya, if not Conria. He came back fairly sooner, and I was like, this motherfucker's still alive. I know I saw it coming, but this motherfucker's coming back so soon. Oh, good lord. Why can't he just stay dead?
All here shall bend to my will.
Squall Fury.
My guiding star. No, night. Committed to memory.
Wind rises. Upon the gale.
The night is cold.
Squall Fury. Upon the gale. Cry louder.
Don't be scared. Not now.
Ow.
Committed to memory. Sharing my knowledge.
The wind rises.
Yeah, like overall, like, I will say, ow!
My guiding stars. Kiss me freely.
Squall Fury.
Yeah, like overall, like, this Grab was a good finale. The 10-act structure was very nice. Ow.
Stars, shine for me. Not now. Committed to memory. The Temple of Wisdom.
Honed in flame. The wind rises. Upon the gale.
Yeah, I wanted at least Scaramouche on this
Wretched vermin.
team.
The night is cold.
Blazing light. A new dawn rises. Squall Fury. Search for it.
Oh, mine's a command. Not now. Make yourselves a home.
Ouch, I am getting pummeled with Wanderer.
The wind rises.
What the? What was draining his health so fast?
A power worthy of my ambition.
My guiding stars.
Blazing light. Behold.
I was smart enough to land that time.
Don't be scared. The temple of wisdom.
Hold in flame!
Swollen fury.
Gotcha that time. Whew. Right. Yeah, overall... Oh... Genshin has real... Well, actually, I'm gonna save my final thoughts for after this guy's
Everyone hold hands.
down.
Get back! Snatch it from my grasp!
Not now.
Blazing light. The wind rises.
Know your place!
Oh, mine's the command. Commit it to memory. Make yourselves at home.
Hold in flame!
It, like, this was honestly a very satisfying fight.
Blazing light. Behold. Search for it. Too slow.
Just like a little
Stars, shine for me. The night is cold.
A little buzzing fly that can annoy you to death.
Rises. Bow your head.
Commit it to memory.
It gave me some trouble before.
hold in flame!
But not anymore, Totori.
Oh, mine's the command.
A new dawn!
Why am I... Why am I burning myself? What is going on?
Far enough. Blazing light.
My guiding stars. This may pre-deliver. Stars, shine for me.
I've never seen... Oh! He just murdered Traveler! I didn't even realize that attack was instant kill. I'm getting away from that.
Quit following me. Upon the gale.
Ah.
The night is cold. I see everything.
The wind rises.
Oh, mine's a command. Hey, sharing my knowledge. Committed to memory.
Rata.
You dare to gaze upon me? New world that I've longed for.
You son of a bitch, Satori! You took me by surprise. I didn't expect that was an instant kill because I stopped it every time prior. Oh. But yeah, now that ends our tour. So like overall, while my rover Genshin has been very, it's like it definitely has improved a lot on the writing, like adding the tying in the lore very well. It adding the character, some important characters into the Archon quests instead of separating by character stories is definitely a good approach. Which, like, they've overall gotten a lot better since then. Like, and while they may probably still make some mistakes, like I feel they will continue to get better. Like, if people, I'm the person say like,
There's no such
if
thing as
you're
freedom in this world.
really like having some issues trying to pick anything, but maybe you're just burnt out, just take a break. Me, I played RPGs a lot. I've read fantasy stories, even stuff with like technology, like, and even watched some. Like that's why I love Miyazaki films a lot. I'm just familiar with some of this stuff, but even then, Genshin surprises me every now and then, and it starts to stack up. I really love like the direction they take. And I'm looking forward to Sneznhaya tomorrow. And with that, like, I think that definitely is the end of this. We finished all 14 weekly bosses with my rolling. So, I will see ya all tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pacific for Sneznhaya, Act 1. And we'll do Act 2 around 11 a.m. Wednesday. And with that, let's find someone to raid. Is there...
There's no need to exchange pleasantries. It's rather pathetic to force a conversation just to occupy silence.
As much as I want to raid someone that's...
There's no such thing as pure freedom in this world. Even the wind cannot go on forever.
I guess this person was also doing a timeline overview. Okay. But we'll read them. I was doing a sort of timeline overview as well. Oh, they're actually going through a lot of the Archon quests and stuff. Is there a way to actually view the cutscenes again? Yeah, there was. I did not know that.
You think I've got a sharp tongue? I just tell it like it is. If someone can't handle it, maybe that's their problem.
Anyway, let's see. The raid will be. The only
There's no
message I
need
can
for
think that's raid message I can think that's
It's
good.
rather pathetic to force a conversation just to occupy silence.
Oh, there is playing some of it. Can you actually replay Archon quests again, or is this a new? Or is this a new one? I can't tell. Anyway,
It doesn't matter. I definitely was not gonna stay awake for more hours just to, you know, fucking get 1,000 primos. I could just explore. I might as well spend my time
You
exploring.
think I've got a sharp tongue? I just tell it like
Wait
it
for the
is.
raid, Bridgeborn.
If someone can't
Guys, now
handle
you coming
it,
tomorrow? Yes, I am so
maybe
excited.
that's their problem.
Oh my god, are you pulling for Odette? I'm just starting a new account right now. My 6th account that I'm gonna be playing on regularly, I suppose. Now I'm gonna end real quick. Depends if she can support Sandrani, that she can.
oh, if Rodette is supporting Sandrilla, then definitely pulling for
She
her.
was pretty much, nah, she wasn't made for her, but you know, they had the synergy.
This seems to be the Knights of Favonia's headquarters. Let's head in.
But Primo Jones? Well, yeah, but I don't have enough time to. Can I even quick start it? Don't I have to complete Act 3 to quick start any events?
What's the hurry? I thought we agreed to meet them again. There have been sightings of storm terror outside the city. Once we leave, we must look. I'll lend a hand when the time comes.
Bro, the day Amber gets a skin, it's over, bro. I need her to have a model revamp. Like, how can you even get prettier than that, though?
Sadly, storm terror has
3 hours, 36 minutes. Yeah, GG. I mean, it's fine. I wasn't even thinking about doing it anyways. I found my NTE. And I'm probably not leaking on my main, but I'm definitely leaking
Yeah.
on my home.
Enjoy like the watching others until Sneznhaya. I'll see you all here for tomorrow for Sneznhaya. Later,
What are
everyone.
the wishes? And surely this means I can select Mizuki.